A 9-year-old girl walked out of her home at 2:30 in the morning, in the pouring rain, with no shoes. Witnesses saw her sprint into the woods, and she was never seen again. No fight, no forced entry, just a child who vanished. Her backpack was found buried in plastic minutes 26 miles away. She wasn't kidnapped from her bed. She left on her own, and nobody knows why. Welcome to episode 3 of Vanished, a Crime Curve series that traces the footsteps of those who disappeared and the silence they left behind. This is the story of Asha Degree.
9-year-old Asha Degree disappeared after walking away from her home in Shelby.
This other unsolved case is in Cleveland County involving a 9-year-old girl who went missing back in 2000.
A soft-spoken 9-year-old who loved reading, church, and staying close to home. But on a stormy Valentine's Day night, she slipped out of bed, walked into the darkness, and was never seen again. Asha Degree was the kind of child every parent dreams of.
I thank God for the 9 years that we did get to have her. And I do miss all the years, and it makes me sad for what I have missed.
Quiet, polite, thoughtful beyond her years. She loved books more than cartoons, kept her room tidy, never got in trouble. She was 9 years old, living in the small town of Shelby, North Carolina. The Degree family was close, tight-knit in the way that only church-going Southern families often are. Her parents, Harold and Aquila, worked hard to give their kids a safe, structured life. No drugs, no crime, no dysfunction. Just school, church, basketball practice, and bedtime at 8:00 p.m. Valentine's Day weekend was supposed to be uneventful. Asha had a basketball game on Saturday, but she fouled out early and was upset with herself. Still, it was nothing major. She smiled again by dinner time. Sunday was church. That night, the kids went to bed around 8:00 like always. Power went out briefly from a nearby car accident, but it came back quickly. Just another February night. But at some point after midnight, something shifted. At around 12:30 a.m., Harold came home from his second job. He peeked into the kids' room. Both Asha and her older brother O'Brien were asleep in their shared room. Everything looked normal, but it wasn't. Somewhere between 2:30 and 3:00 a.m., Asha got out of bed. She quietly opened the front door. Rain was falling hard. The wind was violent. Temperatures were near freezing. And yet, this tiny child stepped outside, alone, with no coat, no phone, no flashlight. No one heard her leave. At 4 a.m., 2 separate motorists spotted a small figure walking along Highway 18. She matched Asha's description exactly. Black backpack, white long-sleeve shirt, and light-colored pants. One driver circled back to check on her. But when they approached, the girl ran into the woods at full speed. That was the last confirmed sighting of Asha Degree. At 6:30 a.m., Aquila went to wake her children for school. O'Brien was in his bed. Asha's was empty. Her backpack was gone. So were her shoes. The front door was unlocked. Panic hit instantly. By 6:45, the Degrees called the police, and within hours, officers, dogs, helicopters, and volunteers were combing the woods. Flyers were printed. National alerts were issued, but there was no trace, no scent trail.
And I we look at O'Brien, and we can cut up with him, and she's always there. She's the first thing I think of when I get up in the morning, and the last thing I think of when I go to bed. So people think, because they see us laughing, going to work, we never forget. I will never forget as long as I draw breath.
It was as if Asha had simply disappeared into the rain, and the question no one could answer: why would a 9-year-old girl with no history of rebellion or fear leave in the middle of a storm? It made no sense, unless someone convinced her to. For days, the Degree family lived in a nightmare.
Well, she is the type of child that would give you the shirt off her back. She never wanted anybody mad at her for anything. She wanted everybody to be her friend. She wanted everybody to be happy.
Volunteers walked shoulder to shoulder through the woods. Drones scanned from above. Police set up checkpoints, but nothing surfaced, not a single clue. It was as if the rain had washed her off the face of the earth. Then came a break. About a week into the search, investigators found something on the side of the highway, just past where the motorists had spotted Asha. Candy wrappers, a pencil, a marker, a Mickey Mouse hairbow, all traced back to Asha. They had confirmation she had made it that far. She was walking, she was alive, and she had been carrying things with her. But why? That same week, police received a disturbing tip. A contractor came forward claiming he saw a girl matching Asha's description entering a dark green car at a nearby intersection around 4:15 a.m. The location, less than a mile from where she was last seen. No one could verify the sighting, and the man couldn't describe the driver. Still, the idea chilled everyone. Was someone waiting for her? Had this all been planned? Investigators began wondering if Asha had been groomed, lured by someone she met at school, church, or even over the phone. But her family insisted. Asha didn't talk to strangers. They didn't have a home computer. She wasn't allowed to watch shows without supervision. So how would someone have reached her? The case went cold. For over a year, there were no answers. Theories swirled. Did she run away? Was she sleepwalking? Was she snatched by a stranger who just happened to find her wandering alone? None of it fit. None of it made sense. Then, 26 miles away, something surfaced. In 2001, more than a year after Asha disappeared, a construction worker unearthed a trash bag while digging in a rural area near Morganton, North Carolina. Inside the bag was a backpack. Asha's backpack, zipped shut, wrapped in plastic, and deliberately buried. The area wasn't random. It was way off any direct route from her home, and it was nowhere near where she was last seen. Even more chilling, inside the backpack were books and clothes. But one book didn't belong to her. No one recognized it, not her parents, not her teachers. It was completely foreign. Whose book was it? Why was it in Asha's bag? And who buried it, on purpose, in the middle of nowhere? It was the most tangible clue they found, but instead of answers, it raised new, terrifying questions.
After 20 years, I still believe my daughter is alive. I do not believe she's dead. And I know somebody knows something. I'm not crazy enough to think that a 9-year-old can disappear into thin air without somebody knowing something.
The FBI got involved. A task force was formed. Sketches were released of 2 men seen near the area in the days before Asha vanished.
To this day, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and SBI are still searching for clues. In 2020, the FBI released this age-progressed photo showing what they believe she would look like now. She'd be 33 this year.
But nothing stuck. No one came forward. No new leads panned out. The story slipped further from headlines. And yet, buried 26 miles away in plastic, one thing was clear. Someone went to great lengths to hide that backpack. And if they hid that, what else were they hiding? With Asha's backpack found buried in plastic, the investigation shifted from hopeful to haunting. This wasn't a runaway case anymore. This was a calculated disappearance, and someone had a reason to keep her hidden. But who? And why? In 2020, 20 years after Asha vanished, the FBI released an age-progressed photo of what she might look like today.
So this is near the area where she was last seen.
What we're trying to do is provide hope-based images, tools to help families that have these long-term missing children in the hope that we can create an image that might have a child brought home.
It sparked renewed media attention, but no leads. Then came another twist. The FBI also revealed that a Dr. Seuss book titled Miss Seligut's Pool was found inside the backpack. But here's the thing. That book had been checked out of Asha's school library. A book she had never checked out herself. So how did it end up in her backpack? Did someone give it to her? Was it bait? And if so, who had access to her school library and to Asha? Then came another mystery, the 2 men. In 2020, the FBI released sketches of 2 unidentified men believed to have been seen near the area where Asha may have gone missing. They've never been identified, never come forward, and no one knows why they were near the site that morning. The sketches are all we have. Two vague faces, frozen in time. Connected to the stormy night, a 9-year-old walked away from everything she knew. But there's more. Asha had a school folder with her name on it, also missing. Some believe she may have been led to think she was going on an adventure, that she had planned to leave with someone she trusted, someone who knew her routine, knew how to convince her without force. And that person has never come forward. Think about that. This wasn't a snatch and grab. There were no broken windows, no screams, no surveillance footage of a vehicle pulling away. Just a door quietly opening and a child vanishing into the storm. For years, the Degree family refused to move, refused to change their phone number, refused to give up. Because what if Asha was still alive? What if she had been taken but not killed? What if she was out there somewhere, unaware that people were still searching? That hope, that terrifying hope, has never gone away. But here's what haunts everyone who's followed this case. Why that night? Why that road? Why bury the backpack so far away so carefully? Was it guilt? Or was it a message? And most importantly, if Asha met someone that night, who were they? A neighbor? A teacher? A stranger who had spent months grooming her from the shadows? No one knows. All we have are questions. A backpack, two sketches, and a little girl who walked into the storm and vanished. It's been more than 20 years. No arrests, no confessions, no closure. Asha Degree would be 33 years old today. And still, her parents leave the porch light on, hoping she's alive, praying she'll come home. Because without a body, she's not gone, she's missing. And someone somewhere knows the truth. A child doesn't vanish into a storm without help. Someone opened that door. Someone gave her that book. Someone buried that backpack. And someone is still out there.
Now, today is heavy for other reasons as well. It marks 24 years since Asha Degree disappeared. She was just 9 years old when she walked away from her home in Shelby, never to be seen again. WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood found out how loved ones continue the fight to find her more than 2 decades later.
This was episode 3 of Vanished, a Crime Curve series tracing the footsteps of those who disappeared and the silence they left behind. Want more? Our companion series, The System Failed, dives into the stories where justice broke down and lives were lost. I'll see you next Monday right here on Crime Curve with another haunting case on Vanished.